I think tonight after this stream, I'm gonna be doing even better because guess who we got going today? We got Rogers High School and the home squad, Eagan baby, Wildcat Gaming. We're about to take them down. It's about to be 2-0. We're strong. I should be unbiased, but I just have to get that out.
Go ahead, dude. Get it off your chest. I respect it. I got a grin from ear to ear. I mean, school pride is a real thing, ladies and gentlemen. Clay May representing his squad right now on the desk. Eagan coming into this one at 4-0, looking like the handed favorites going up against Rogers at a 2-2 record. But it should be a very good showcase for Eagan. We haven't gotten a chance to see them throughout the course of this season. So I am also very excited to see this squad perform tonight. Rogers has been on the stream at least once before this.
Yep.
We've seen them play on a 2-game win streak. So coming off the back-to-back W's. So feeling pretty good, right? You've evened up the season at 500 for Rogers, but a very tall task in Eagan up ahead of him, Clay.
Absolutely. Rogers would have to be a bit of an upset for them to get this based purely off of records and how they're going. Because you mentioned the 2-game win streak for Rogers. Eagan, of course, if you count preseason, it's a 6-game win streak.
6-0, yeah, 6-0, my bad.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They've been tearing up the league so far. Biggest competitions are Roseville and SJP, who are also 4-0, but tonight we're not seeing them. So we're going to see Rogers, going to see how they can perform. And it is an Eagan showcase for a lot of teams, because a lot of teams can watch the stream now so they can properly see how Eagan's going to play, especially SJP and Roseville, like I just mentioned, because they're all the 4-0 teams right now. We're saying are title contenders, and we're going to have to see if they can keep it up in the later half of the season.
Absolutely. And we've seen, I believe the matchup was Rogers versus Apple Valley, if I'm not mistaken. And we saw AVHS win that. We have also seen multiple squads take out AVHS. They have been on a bit of a slide recently. So, for Rogers, oh, we are getting word that we might be loading right into game. Players are ready to get into this.
Oh, wait.
All right, they must have dodged. They must have dodged on that. That's okay.
Hey, we've all been
They must have gotten nervous. Yeah. They got nervous because they're like, oh, we weren't supposed to go into game, so they backed out fast. That's okay. We will get that loaded back up and get back into the server. I mean, the players are excited to get into this. Clearly, Clay trying to jump into game without giving us the heads up, but that's okay. I'm excited though. Eagan 4-0, trying to stay undefeated, and Rogers, middle of the pack, 500 roster or 500 record right now, trying to get back into a positive win. This would by far be their biggest win of the season. They've only taken out Albert Lee and St. Michael Albertville as well. So those are their two recent wins. And we'll have to see how things play out tonight. I am ready to get underway. If we can get all players back in the lobby, I'm sure we will be getting things started very shortly.
Yeah. Against a 4-0 team, any team that isn't 4-0, winning would be, a big win for a big win. It's already a win, but it's an extra big win.
For sure.
It's a very good point to prove yourself and prove that your team can get the job done and can take these big wins against these strong teams. Eagan only has 2 returning players, so a little bit there, but they seem to be working well together. I'm not sure about Rogers. I'll have to think about that. But if they can have that team synergy, I mean, Rogers can beat any team, frankly. You can say that about any team beating any team in League, because just the nature of League of Legends, how that works, how punishing it is. One mistake can lead to the whole game falling out of your hands. So there's just a lot on the table here for both Rogers and Eagan, because Eagan wants to maintain their 4-0 record, and Rogers wants to take down a team with a 4-0 record.
Yeah, I mean, snapping a team's undefeated win streak is a feeling that you can't really match. I mean, it's like as big as like a playoff win or, taking home a super important matchup against a rival team. It's just like there's something satisfying about taking and giving that team their first loss, that first number on the right hand of the record. It's always a sweet feeling, but obvious underdog situation for Rogers. We can't really kid ourselves. Eagan has 4-0 for good reason, 6-0 counting preseason. So this is just, like we've all said, kind of the coming out party for Eagan here. We're all getting a chance to play. So rumor is we are getting into game very shortly. Yep, here we go, folks. All right, game number 1 of this potential best of 3, Clay May. Let's start it out with champion select.
All right, we got Rogers on the blue side, Eagan on the red. We're taking away the Fiora, taking that away from number 1 Keshi fan. Number 1 Keshi fan has been a fantastic player for the many seasons he has played, or at least a couple seasons he has played. I know, seen some very good performances on the Jace as well. He has got a nasty Jace, so I would kind of expect a ban on that. or they could just be letting it through and focusing on a counter pick. Pike going away, Viego going away. Kind of just some different focus here. Viego taken away from 705 Stinger. Seen him play on stream before. Malzahar going away. Taking away that powerful ultimate is mainly what you're taking away from Malzahar. It doesn't do that much else. Just be able to press R and take someone down is very powerful. So, focus, different focus here.
Isolation ultimate, very solid with Malzahar. Rek'Sai taking out Kai'Sa as well. 3 Void champions to round out the pick ban. Now Eggsy going to start it off. Obviously, as always, teams draft in pro draft ahead of time, so we will see them just lock in direct order of what they would be playing, not the necessary order of how the draft went. We got Wukong going the side of Rogers. Countering that is the Gragas picked up and a Zyra. Well, okay.
Okay, there
Does that mean Zyra jungle?
Yeah, he has played that before. ECK has played that. He's also a Fiddlesticks enthusiast, so that kind of mage style, lots of damage is what he likes to do. Zoe Lilia, seen that before as well. Double sleep. That's
double sleep, but look at these knockups is what I'm seeing here with Yasuo getting picked up. You got the Gragas top lane. The Zyra knockup with that ultimate can be absolutely wild in a 5v5 team fight scenario here, Clay. So both team comps starting to pan out and look quite dangerous.
Definitely. I've seen 2 kind of distinct styles, of course. Rogers looking to jump on with that Wukong. Try and get some Lilia sleeps onto like the whole team. Zoe is gonna be sending in those, intercontinental ballistic missiles of Qs that she can sometimes get going. But Eagan is going for that, gonna be that heavy, dive, heavy jump, heavy stuff with that Yasuo, because that Yasuo wants to jump in off the Zyra ult, off the Gragas knockup, because that is actually a knockup on his ultimate. So they're seeing some of that. ADCs coming out now in the picks.
Zeri. Yeah. Nautilus for Renbo.
I like that.
Needed some more tankiness, some frontline ability. Definitely providing that with the Nautilus. Now to round out the Eagan composition.
What will it be? Senna?
Senna. That's
I also like that.
Poke-heavy bot lane. Can get a lot of pressure with that Aphelios Senna. Both champions having quite a good amount of range, right? Like, really can be annoying without necessarily being in kill range, but Nautilus, if he gets that dredge line on either one of them, could be in trouble. So gonna have to play on like a knife's edge, if you will, for that bot side of Eagan. But overall, I like the damage potential there.
Definitely. I like the poke trying to counter out the dive that you're going to get from the Nautilus, because Aphelios has the poke with the green gun and the range extension on that. Senna's got the poke from just, being Senna, so she's going to get that. I like that matchup there. That bot lane matchup is going to be especially crucial because it's a carry. Aphelios is big carry. Aphelios is going to scale into that late game. We're gonna have to see how that jungle matchup goes for ECK. Of course, I don't think Zyra necessarily can beat a Lilia. Maybe early, but maybe mid or later. It's not going to happen. And top, it's top lane, so it doesn't really matter anyways, but it will be a fun matchup for sure.
Absolutely. Now we got to wait that 3-minute timer before we can load on in and start the spectate. But overall, we see very good team fighting composition coming out for the side of the Eagan Wildcats. What are the biggest things that you see that could throw a wrench in ECK's plan here on the Zyra jungle? Because I haven't seen enough of it to kind of have the knowledge to back this one up.
Zyra's not going to win any 2v1s in her out of her favor. So if you just get one roam, or she just gets spotted out and mid laner heads up, or maybe the bot lane heads up if she's in a bad position, that's all it's going to take. And then it's a Zyra. She's just kind of out of the fight at that point, especially if Lilia can pick up the kill on the Zyra or pick up more early gold. Lilia's going to be able to accelerate her snowball that we see from the champion, and she's going to be able to just kind of take over that jungle. And the Zyra, frankly, won't be able to go anywhere with any actual safety. You're going to have to light up your own jungle. See it and be safe.
I have seen the clearing is really good though, because she can stay very healthy with her plants taking most of the damage and most of the punishment from the jungle. So overall, I'm honestly, as a jungle enthusiast, excited to see how this Zyra pick plays out. Don't take this one into your solo queue games off the rip. It's definitely something that requires practice, right? I'm not going to just send you into there blind like that, but the Lilia can take over games. So like I'm just interested to see how this jungle matchup is going to play out. Mid is looking pretty run of the mill. I mean, you got the Yasuo, which is definitely the hype pick that I think people are looking for in the chat. So, but I mean, dude, if it ends up being a solo queue Yasuo performance, we're looking for that double digit power spike.
Yep. Gotta go 0-10 or 10-0. Either way,
Absolutely.
you're probably going to lead to a loss because, it can't be that impactful. He's got to really take over. See that, and
Yeah.
we're hoping we're going to see that. Got the great combos with the Gragas and the Zyra ultimates, big knockups. Going to look for plays, going to look for roams. Going to be able to really use that power that you get by playing Yasuo to your advantage. But Rogers, I mean, they got a couple comfort picks in there. The Zoe, we've seen that before from Sushi BM. The Lilia, like I mentioned, we've seen that from 705 Stinger. So they've got some experience there. I believe these are mostly new champs for Eagan. I have to do a bit more digging, but they're not everything that we've seen before, and they're not. I don't think. Hold on, what? Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Keshi fan, he's playing what? He's playing Gragas. That's not exactly what we've seen before. We've seen him play crazy Jace. I definitely think that's his best pick. So a bit of a different style there, and I hope he's been practicing so he can pick up that win.
But the thing is here, and let me give credit to Keshi fan because you said we've seen a lot of like mechanically skill intensive champions like Fiora, like the Jace. So, I mean, in my head, I think that they'd be able to pilot the Gragas with some ease. I mean, Gragas, very forgiving champion with abilities. So, folks, we are loading into the game number 1 of this best of 3. Rogers taking on Eagan. Let's get this thing underway. Clay May's excited to see his hometown squad. Eagan, all righty.
Yes,
Without
sir.
further ado, let's get this one going. We're hoping it's working.
Goes.
We're hoping it's working. We're getting the pre-game jitters out of the way, getting ready to get this one going. I mean, dude, I'm gonna say it again. We're just waiting to get it going.
Yeah, we're all just on the edge of our seats, ready to get this matchup underway. This big matchup between top squad and a middle of the pack squad right now. Seeing what's going to happen here, because anything can happen in League. It's just such a punishing game, such a crazy, diverse game. A lot of things can happen. You can see teams come back from 10K gold down. It's happened. It happens many times. Happens in pro scene. So it's just it's bizarre what can happen sometimes.
Yeah, no, agreed. I mean, League being a game that can be turned around quickly, but also, can be a slow burn, a long mounting snowball, if you will, that ends up, piling up over time and you kind of get beat down. So hopefully we got a back and forth matchup, right? We want things to go good for both squads. I mean, I'm excited. Rogers has a chance to have a crazy upset here. They're on a 2-game win streak, so no better time for them to be having a high of morale. So at least they will have positive mental going into this one and looking to basically come out and stomp on the Eagan show out party, like legit. I mean, that's basically what they have the opportunity to do. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying that's what they have an opportunity to do. 4-0 Eagan, folks. We are getting into game now. Rogers on red side, and it's actually Sneak. Yep, playing that top lane position.
Oh.
And Eggsy taking the Ignite top.
That is aggressive.
Here we go. Invade coming through from Rogers. Sleep going to hit onto the setup. Flash immediate. Wukong jumping on top. Ignite going to take him down. First blood over to Rogers. They surprise Eagan with an invade. And already finding themselves a first blood. And it goes to top lane as well. Wukong. Whew. That's tough. That's a long sword and a health potion. Maybe if he wants it, not going to take an extra health pot. But man, Wukong going to be able to put out some damage on that Gragas now.
Yeah, for sure, Skep. That is a big early kill going over to Eggsy. Spent the Ignite in that, but it's going to be up quick enough anyways because he's going to have so much pushing power and so much damage potential onto the Gragas. Gragas, as we mentioned in draft, somewhat a relatively safe pick. He can just hit you with the body slam, get you out of there. Throw a Q on you, get a slow. So he has that safety. But the Wukong has very high mobility. And early game, Wukong has a lot of playmaking potential and a lot of high damage potential. So Sneak and River is going to have to find a way to keep himself in this lane and not get behind on the Wukong because you don't want to do that on any champ. And Wukong's not much better.
Yeah. I mean, well said. We have good trade going down in mid lane early. So that Sleep plus Electrocute combo is just nasty from Sushi. Eggsy jumping onto the Gragas in the top lane. Body slams him right off of himself. Gragas good at protecting himself with that overly sized belly of his. Oh, hopping onto a minion for that time. Toglooper going a little bit close, and that's the dredge line that we've been talking about. The root combo as well. Level 2 ticked over, but the exhaust not going to be enough. The Rainbow Ignite will tick Senna down. It's a 2-0 start. Rogers up early. And look at this Wukong damage. One extra item in the early game here, Clay, and you already see how much dividends it's playing in the top lane.
Yeah, that kill in bot side onto Toglooper going over to Renbu, the support. So it's a little more ideal than going on to Larai.
Morano's going to do it! And Eggsy picks up a solo kill. Rogers finding the miracle start to this game number 1.
Sneak didn't flash. He could have flashed after the Wukong. After Wukong flashed, he might have been able to get away. That might have been a mistake there. He might not have thought the Wukong would have chased him quite that far. Maybe thought turret range was a little bit closer. But as I said before, that's the power of getting that early advantage. Now he's picking up a Sheen. That's even more early advantage. Landing on bot there.
ECK trying to pull up. Right place, right time. Double root. Both flashing out. Zeri getting out of dodge. Rainbow shield not going to do it. Senna Zyra will tick him out. ECK picking up that one with the red buff. Ticking him down. At least Eagan get one back onto the board, trying to salvage what they can of this early game here, Clay. But man, before that, what a start for Rogers and a needed answer from Eagan.
Yeah, ECK picking up that kill with the red buff. He's got the red smite building as well. I don't even know the name. Scorchclaw, the name of that pet, I believe. I think it's Scorchclaw. Gonna see that. ECK gonna be able to have a bit more power here, a bit more ability to pull off effective ganks and pull off high damage ganks, because the Aphelios fairly low damage, you can say, in early game, more of a scaling focus, and also has the flash ghost, so a lot of mobility. That makes sense playing into the Nautilus, wants to be able to get away if the dredge line is coming towards him, or if the ultimate is underneath him, wants to be able to just run away, get out of the fight, try and keep himself safe.
Behind Yasuo, should be able to just E through and get on out. Worm Eater not taking too much damage. NATO gonna land on a Sushi. Overall, for the 3 kills found by Rogers, the CS is looking so good on the side of Eagan that the gold lead is almost neutralized. Dredgeline going to land on the Toglooper. Good damage going traded onto the Senna. Now Nautilus taking a lot of damage back. Sleep going to land on a Yasuo. Ignite as well. Worm Eater, Windwall going to block a big ability from the Zoe. Going to have to flash out. Man, trades back in the mid lane. Yasuo down to almost sub 100 HP. Forced to recall. Zoe low as well.
Yeah, flash is down now for both mid laners. Jungler's definitely going to be looking over there, especially 705 Stinger. Wants to get that Zoe accelerated. Wants to get that snowball going if she can snowball, because I've seen Zoe's carry games. I've seen Zoe's do absolutely nothing. So, but other than that, Worm Eater was doing very well in the lane. He's up 6 CS right now, holding on to that Zoe. He's got some more damage potential, so Worm Eater pulling off a great early start here, making sure to keep this game at least a little close, even with the 2-kill lead over to Rogers.
Yeah, I mean, overall, this Wukong now, with this Sheen, has quite a lot of kill threat on this Gragas. Ignite is up as well, but so far playing kind of passive. I mean, Gragas just stings over to 6. Now probably not the time to go for this fight. Eggsy getting tagged low. Gragas, the explosive cask. Luckily, clones out just in the nick of time. That was almost critical from Eggsy. Would have been a huge solo kill to find for Sneak.
For sure. Keep himself going in this matchup, but I don't know if he necessarily needed it. He seems to be doing fine in the CS department. The 2 kills are the big power point for the Rogers top laner, Eggsy, right now. And the bot lane, shifting over a lot more to Rogers right now. Big CS lead coming over for the Zeri. It looks like 16 right now over Sheiji on the Aphelios. That's kind of what we expected to see. We saw the early aggression with the dredge lines. Here's another one.
Enbu going aggressive. Uziri's pulling up late to the party. Toglooper forced to flash away. Summoner spell going down. Toglooper now having to flash out almost on cooldown from this bot lane. Got to pay more close attention to where you're stepping. I mean, Renbu landing those dredge lines is almost cost them their life twice.
Yeah, it has.
Well, it has, but maybe twice more, you know?
Yeah, well, I have to see what happens there. Again, Shade.
Ooh, Yasuo ultimate in the mid lane. Zoe Sleep gonna land the E out into minions to safety. Gonna keep him up for now.
Yeah, Yasuo plays
I'm
good. He
going
can
aggressive
have ways
again.
in and out. Some good stuff there. Like the
A
bot
slippery
lane.
champion Yasuo is.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But in the bot lane, 2 kills have been onto the Senna support. The priority target is, of course, Sheiji on the Aphelios. Sheiji still has both summoner spells up, the Flash and the Ghost, so a lot of mobility there. The Rise Flash and the enemy bot lane is coming back up right now. We saw that early play from ECK. Hoping to see, I don't think we've seen much out of 705 Stinger. He had that one play on the mid that didn't really work. And then ECK obviously had that bot gank. So we're going to have to see how these junglers path and how these junglers choose to put their focus on the lanes, on objectives, how they're going to do it to be able to help their teammates get advantages.
Absolutely. Zoe ultimating in, pops the ignite onto Yasuo just for some tick damage. Now Rogers eyeing up this Ocean Dragon. And it doesn't seem like Eagan are playing to contest for the time being. Phase rush procced on the Gragas, and look at how quickly that man can hit a 40-yard dash after the phase rush. He'd surprise you.
Yeah, even with that big belly, big drinker. He's carrying a big cast with him too, or like a cask. Like, what is that?
No, he is.
It's
705 Stinger in quite some trouble here. Gonna get sniped down. ECK picking it up with the back of the Senna ultimate. Now holding both kills here for this Eagan squad. Now Zoe in trouble, pathing a little bit poorly towards mid lane. Yasuo gonna tick him down, and that's a solo kill going over for Wormeater. Now trades in the top lane, ignite onto Gragas. Cask knocks him back towards his tower. Might not have helped him out as he so would have liked. Eggsy on a killing spree, trying to even this one back up in favor of Rogers. What explosive plays across the map.
just soft view. 30 seconds of action there. Minute of action.
CK?
Nah, he can't get anything there. Even though he is so accelerated here, picking up both or 2 of the 3 kills for Eagan. The other kill going over to Wormeater. We saw that solo on the Sushi BM. For Rogers, though, the massively accelerated player is, of course, Eggsy on the Wukong top. 3 kills up now. Sneak and River, the enemy, 0 and 2. Eggsy has a massive advantage up there. We're going to have to see if Rogers can use the playmaking from the Wukong and bring him around the map and make him, help them win team fights, help them contest neutral objectives, because they're picking up another one here in the Rift Herald. We already saw them pick up the Ocean Dragon. So right now, I think Rogers is definitely controlling the map. But Eagan right now has a gold lead. So they're definitely finding ways to stay in this game, stay ahead of Rogers.
Yeah, I mean, this Wukong now, that cask play just a bit unfortunate for Sneak, knocking Wukong directly where he was trying to go. Happens sometimes. And I mean, after that first blood, that's where you're really seeing that gold lead come from for the Wukong. But if ECK can make a play on that top side of the map now, Clay, it could drastically swing things back into Eagan favor. You can see almost up 1,000 gold now overall. So doing quite well for themselves. Yasuo picking that up as well in the solo kill in mid lane.
Yeah, Yasuo getting the static shiv already 10 minutes into the game. Definitely better wave clear there, definitely better poke potential. We're going to have to see how we can leverage that as we move into the later laning phases and extend Eagan's gold advantage, or at least keep it where it is right now, because they want to stay ahead. That's a nice wind wall, but they want to stay ahead here against Rogers. Don't want to let them get accelerated. Sneak and River picking up a mythic and
the ultimate. And not a lot of damage traded back from Sushi BM. I mean, that static shiv doing work. Now, gank coming into bot side. ECK pulling up. The Graviton gonna lock Nautilus in place. Flashing out to safety. Renbu will stay alive for now. ECK forcing summoners on almost every time we have seen him.
ECK playing with a heavy focus on this bot lane. Haven't seen him show up really anywhere else. Trying to get the Aphelios and the Senna accelerated so they can keep up the damage and keep up the pressure with the immense poke that they have. For 705 Stinger, just kind of been counter-reacting to a lot of players right now, and Eagan's gold lead is growing to almost 1,000 here. And I mean, look at this. The bot lane of Rogers is totally pushed in there. They have no wave. I don't think they even want to try and look up or walk up, even with the aggressive Nautilus pick, because they just might not have the damage right now.
Good sleep onto Yasuo for the trade back, but Yasuo forcing
ECK.
that summoner spell. ECK from the Raptor pit. Absolutely going to take down that Zoe for a killing spree. Fully activated in this one now. Stunting on the Zyra jungle. This time Sneak dropping the barrel on top of himself in case that Wukong tried to sneak up on him. I respect it. Make a mistake, learn from it. So Sneak adapting in the matchup. Toglooper walking a little close to Tribush. Sneak gonna land the ultimate from Lilia. Now exhaust onto the Zeri. The Nautilus ultimate gonna knock up Aphelios, forced to flash out as well. Rogers, for where they are losing on one side of the map, very good at cross-mapping and trying to activate elsewhere.
Huge for Rogers there. Able to maintain some pressure on that bot lane. Toglooper losing another one of his lives there. Hopefully he's not a cat and has 9, but I'll have to see what happens there. 705 Stinger going with the Rod of Ages build. I'm not entirely sure if that's what you typically see on a Lilia. I probably wouldn't play it, but it might be meta now. So some first item completions coming through across the board. Eggsy getting the Divine Sunder, sneaking River, picked up the Everfrost, and Larai counteracting Worm Eater, their very own static shift, seeing what they can get done here.
And for Larai, I just wanted to point out the CS lead starting to build up, the Mythic completed. So a very good spot for the Rogers bot lane to be in now. One of the, besides Wukong, the bot lane being the other main focus. So 705 Stinger and Sushi may be behind, but they have some powerful squad mates right now to keep them involved. This game could really tip either way. I think we're as even as we have been throughout our season. So Clay, this matchup delivering so far.
Wow, 2K gold lead for Eagan right now over Rogers, but it certainly doesn't feel like it in a lot of the fights we have been seeing.
Ooh, good damage from ECK. Forcing out the flash from 705 Stinger. Zoe trying to trade over the wall. Bubble gonna land onto Aphelios. Now trading in the top lane. Wukong ticking that ignite onto Gragas. He does not like the flames. He's got forced to flash out to T1. The follow flash.
Why is he doing?
Wukong. He's back in, playing dangerously, risky. Now damage going back. Yasuo ulti over the wall, takes down the Rai. Wukong gonna pick up a solo kill onto Gragas. Now Worm Eater in a world of trouble. The follow flash for the NATO. Insane plays coming through from Zyra Yasuo. Eagan go nuclear at the Hex Tech Drake.
What did we just witness? An ace for Eagan. Just playing.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, it's an ace there. And Eagan only losing, I believe, the 1 there onto Sneakin' River in the top lane. Their jungle, their mid, their ADC still deathless in this game so far, and their gold lead just massively grew to 5K. They picked up a dragon, and they are feeling very good in this game right now. We saw massive plays out of Worm Eater and ECK. If you just look at their KDs.
On the Yasuo, in a bit of trouble. Worm Eater overstaying his welcome and gonna drop a shutdown to Zeri. That is not who you want to pick up that shutdown. I don't even know how much gold that was, but that had to be a lot, Clay.
I believe it was 400, and I was just about to sing the praises of Worm Eater, and then he does that. This is what we see from Yasuo's. I think he's doing good, but that was... He ruined my point.
He's been doing
totally
good,
ruined my point.
That was tough timing. Overstaying just a little bit long. Explosive cask onto Wukong. Gragas not doing too much damage in this 1v1 matchup, but was able to pick up a solo or at least a trade while Wukong took him out under that tower dive. And now you can see Gragas as well with a 2-level lead. So doing quite well for himself, even given that poor start that his squad mate gave over to that Wukong.
Yeah, the Gragas is going to have a shockingly high amount of damage here with the Everfrost. You see his home coming in there. But ECK is really the power point for Eagan right now. 4-on-1. We'll trade there. Not much going to happen.
Yasuo, tons of damage going on to Sushi BM, using that ignite. And now Yasuo doing some serious work in this mid 1v1. Rest of this Rogers squad going to be forced to come in and bail Sushi out. But right now, I mean, this Yasuo is kind of free to do as he pleases.
Yeah, Yasuo being a very important power part of Eagan's roster, having that static shift. He's accelerated like we want to see from Yasuo. We don't want to see the Yasuo get behind because the Yasuo's going to do absolutely nothing. He got accelerated off those 4 kills, that 1 solo, and from that Rift Herald play, or not the Rift Herald, the Dragon play we just saw. Now there's a Rift Herald play coming out. And Sushi BM never really had a way into the lane. He just felt so choked out. yet ended up being down 44 CS right now. So he's definitely not a powerful part of Rogers' squad right now. And Eagan, after the poor early start they had, now looking very good 17 minutes into this game 1.
Yeah, and that mere 2K gold lead that we talked about just about a minute or two ago, Clay, has gone up. Eagan now up almost 4K gold, flashing on a 705 Stinger, forced to exit the Krug camp. Now, Eggsy trying to trade onto this Gragas, but not offering much anymore. That early game lane bully status starting to kind of fade away from the Wukong. Gragas durability starting to hold up.
Yeah.
Now trying to look at a third dragon here on spawn. Cloud Drag still a little bit a ways.
Yeah. Eagan.
Minute and a half.
Yeah, that's what it is right now. Eagan looking to secure more resources before this game starts to move into the mid stages. I guess we kind of are in mid stages. We're pretty much out of laning here. They're just looking to expand the lead they have right now. They have a lead pretty much everywhere. Of course, top lane mashup is shockingly even for those 4 kills that Eggsy picked up. The mid lane is far over to Wormeater. The bot lane, you definitely say the bot lane is over to Larai on Rogers right now, just off that 50 CS lead. JG though, playing well so far. Hasn't really gotten picked off or been focused on picks. He hasn't really, you know, played poorly. Playing good, playing lane good. Been able to save his sum so far. Turret going down on the bot side.
Also taking out that tier 2. NATO not going to land. Rift Herald helping him out. Dragon now just 30 seconds away, so potentially looking at a group up. Wormeater sticking around for the opposing squad's red buff. We'll see if he gets away with this. Should be a-okay to take that, though. Lily up at top side.
Yeah, Rogers no vision.
705 Stingers not pathing bot side here with Dragon spawning in.
Yeah, sneak.
Going for sneak in the top side. Sleep going to come down. Wukong ultimate as well. Senna going to keep Gragas healed, but it's not going to matter. That Ignite denying so much healing potential. Ooh, Zoe just barely missing that Q. Wormeater doing some good damage on this side lane, though. Really being a nuisance and delivering another dragon over to the Eagan camp.
Yeah, Eagan, like I said, they're keeping these leads going. They're staying at least even everywhere. ECK, it's their power point. ECK has to show up. I want to see him land some stuff, and I want to just see how much damage it does. Because he's got the Leandries.
There's
he's
a
got
root. There's a flash. Some of the damage you wanted to see. Renbu, the poor one, suffering from it. Wormeater now just pushing through mid lane hard. Ultimate from Aphelios not quite going to land. NATO across the wall will knock Sushi up for the time being. 705 Stinger showing up a little late to the party. Windwall going to block some of that damage. Yasuo flashing under turret in a 1v3.
Jeez.
He's going to find 2. An absolute savage going under that tier 2. And he finds a third. Is he going to find the 1v4? Not going to happen, but what was that from Yasuo? Wormeater turning into the World Eater.
That was absolutely huge. He got the solo triple kill. And now Eagan is going to move towards this Baron. They are going to be able to take it down. I think they have just enough damage. And ECK is going to take the damage. He'll be fine. They'll be fine. And Eagan is feeling fine in this game right now. Massive play off of Wormeater. They're going to get this Baron. They're picking up these massive advantages. And this is like a 20-minute Baron. This is so early. And they're gonna be able to just completely snowball, and the lead Eggsy has or the lead Larai has isn't going to matter anymore if Eagan can just stay ahead and continue to stay ahead of Rogers.
Yeah, at this point now, Rogers being semi-even in this one has almost completely disappeared. I mean, you see how much work those plants do for the Zyra jungle. CS right now is through the roof at 190 and climbing. Overall, a very, very solid performance coming from the mid-jungle duo from Eagan, really putting their team on the back throughout this game. And now neutral objectives have been well in their control as well. So as long as they continue to play together, Clay, things should play out in Eagan way here in game number 1. Eggsy forced to use that ultimate in the top side. And I mean, Gragas not even taking damage anymore from it.
No, it's not. So, Gragas being powerful here, even against that early lead. Eggsy out, it's just diminishing. It's just falling apart here. Not even that far ahead. He's only got the Divine Sunder and most of his second item, while Sneak has both of his first items up, being the Everfrost, the Shadow Flame. Got his boots too. He's moving really well right now. He's feeling good. Feeling like he wants to make some plays and take this game one. Big root landing. Not going to be able to follow up on it though, even with the turret going down. Light Vigil goes wide.
Yeah, now pushing down mid lane. Zoe Sleep not quite going to land. These Zyra plants doing work if you walk into range. So Rogers having to play very far back. Good root coming through from Zyra. The ultimate forced out. Larai taking half the HP. Imagine if the knockup goes. That might even be a solo bolo from the ultimate. Nice Zoe damage onto Sheiji. And now the Lilia Sleep ultimate not going to come through. Renbo quite low on HP. It's Worm Eater pushing on the bottom inhibitor turret. Wukong's pushing top lane. Not sure if they haven't gotten the memo. Inhib going down. One Lilia going to Sleepy. And all of a sudden, Eagan going to break open this base.
ECK having some fancy feet there to dodge out on all the spells. Coming over from Rogers, we saw Sheiji barely live through like pretty much one Zoe Q, and that's what we say about Zoe. She can just do so much damage in one shot. Exit.
Not going to take ECK down. I think they're going to survive. What a play. Wukong falling for the bait. Coming up late to the party, going in for a solo kill and chasing it down. And I mean, that's almost, you know, a bit of a mistake coming through from the Wukong. Big time. Not being on the same page as the team, right? You lose 2 inhibitors, you show up late, and then you just give a solo kill over for no good reason. The power point of Rogers has disappeared through this game.
Yeah, it seriously has. But
good ultimate, though. Now both players from Eagan just going to drop here, Clay. Oh, no. These overstays might be just a little bit too sloppy a play from Eagan.
Yeah, the deathless game
going in one by one.
Deathless game for Sheiji. Going away there, dropping a 0-1-3. Sheiji, we haven't really seen too much out of here. Only sitting at 121 CS and the 0 kills. All he's got is a Storm Razor. He hasn't really been a super powerful point of Eagan. I think he's mainly been bait so far. Bait for Rogers to just jump in and then get taken down by ECK5 and Worm Eater. ECK having a great game here, 4-0-4. I know he wants to keep that Deathless game alive. And look at that. Look at his items right now. Look at his inventory. The Liandry's, the Rylai's Crystal Scepter, and the 13-stack Medjai's Soul Stealer. So definitely high damage, definitely very powerful, and definitely taking down this dragon here as they move to Soul Point.
Yeah, wicked amount of damage that the Zyra can do. Doesn't even have to be in the jungle camp to like actually clear it. The plants just do all the work. I mean, you can see it for yourself right there. Gragas trying to work that side lane. 2 inhibitors down in the middle and bottom lanes for Eagan now. Only have 1 lane left to eye up. Got to go help out Sneak In River. And I mean, at this point, Eagan just got to keep working together and they will be able to close this game out in due time.
Yeah, earlier, the only times we saw when they were pushing into the base that it didn't work was when they overstayed and just got picked off. If they play a 5v5, they're going to win. If they play a 4v5 even, they're probably going to win. I mean, Worm Eater can just win 1v3, so it hardly matters regardless. But Eagan, very far ahead in this game. That 8k gold lead. Sneaking Rivers jumping on an Eggsy. He's taking a lot of damage, though.
Cast burn from the Gragas. Yeah, that Conqueror really helping out Wukong over time. Gragas staying a little bit too long, a little bit too far from home. Ziri showing up late to the party. Now Eagan wasting no time to push into the Rogers base. You find the Gragas, but at what cost? 1 Nexus turret bound to fall. A 2-man sleep coming through. 705 Stinger. This could be the play. The W's going to whiff. Now, as Worm Eater diving in a 1v4 yet again, takes out both Nexus turrets. So Eagan exposing the Rogers base. Shut down onto Yasuo. But I mean, at this point, Eagan almost putting the closing finishes on this one.
Yeah, open at Nexus in Rogers' space. They have no turrets there. Sneak in River. All it's going to take is a really good TP. Both mid and bot inhibitors down as well. So Rogers is going to be stuck in their base dealing with these super minions that are pouring through the gates. Meanwhile, Eagan is just going to have their run of the map and be able to take down dragons, get the Cloud Soul, going to be able to take Barons, and just going to be able to overall pressure Rogers too much. And they're just going to squeeze them out before they can do anything to pull themselves back into this game.
Yeah, now at this point, Clay, Baron back on the cards. Eagan gonna be going right over to the Nasher, looking to take this one out. I mean, Rogers can't walk too far away from their base. They have an exposed Nexus. Sneak has teleport, doesn't do the biggest amounts of damage, but with those super minions, enough pressure will be flooding into that Rogers base as it is. So Eagan just going to set their eyes onto the Nasher and then look to close out soon after.
Yeah, Rogers is going to have to look for picks if they want to find any way back into this game. The flash for every member of Eagan's roster right now is down. So that is definitely a point that they can look for. However, Eagan is very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very centered around this Baron. They're going to take it down. See Sneak and River recall in there. They're just going to probably reset here.
Yasuo has the NATO.
Some more power.
Ward going to absolutely execute the Zeri. The Senna to help him out. That might just be the nail in the coffin right there. Baron picked up. Yasuo finding that last breath onto Zeri. Not ready for that play. Sick, smooth move from Worm Eater going through the Gromp outside of the wall, having NATO at the ready. Definitely showing the mechanical prowess. Piloting the Yasuo well.
And that death timer now. We're gonna 17 seconds there. The 3 items area is not who you want to lose. Jumping on a Toad Leader, taking a lot of damage. Fight breaking out.
Nice cask onto 2. Yasuo doing a heaping amount of damage here. NATO onto 705 Stinger. The double knockup from the Zyra ultimate. Now Renbu falling quite low. Sushi BM going back in. Yasuo going to find one. Aphelios takes out another. Sushi trades out onto the Yasuo. Double ultimate coming through from Zeri. Now Wukong going to take out the Gragas. Zeri's on a double kill. Pushing forward. ECK is too low. He's got to stay out of this fight. Sheiji doing some nice trade damage from the Severum pistol, healing himself up and getting out to safety. But man, oh man, Rogers still have some fight left in him.
Yeah, Eagan pushing on that top lane, trying to get that tier 3 turret and that inhibitor there. If they had a wave in mid or bot, they just could have probably pushed there and looked for an end instead. So I'm not entirely sure why they look for that top inhib, just trying to get more general pressure. But I don't think they need it, because, and I don't think they're going to try something like that again, because they just saw how a play that they try and make can backfire against them, because Rogers is certainly not weak, as they just saw. They certainly have plenty of damage. That Lilia is scaling late. That Zoe is getting those items going. She's getting that damage going. Fully into the Zhonya's now. Gonna have some safety as well. So Rogers finding ways to fight back, and Eagan looking for this dragon and looking for this soul.
Now Eagan eyeing up the dragon soul here. Should be able to get this one quite quickly. You see how much damage coming through. Lilia gonna spot out, but not even gonna get over to the pit in time. Zeri gonna take out the Senna. So a trade, but it is the soul going over. And now Yasuo is in an absolute danger mode. You got 4 items. He did hit the positive double-digit spike. So at this point, Worm Eater just has no fear. Pushing through wind walls, the dredge line. Wukong trading out, going in a little deep here. Cask back into the team. Yasuo trading back onto the other side of the wall. Wukong's in a 1-on-4. You're not Worm Eater there, my friend. You can't fight the 1v4s like that. Renbu forced to run. Worm Eater not going to allow that. I mean, chopping up this Nautilus. The cask going to take him out. Yasuo jumping into Zeri's face a little point blank, a little bit preemptive. 705 Stinger, and Zeri could potentially hold the line. It's ECK and Sheiji. Man, Eagan keep not being on the same page on these pushes here, Clay.
This is not what I was looking for as a definitely unbiased caster who definitely doesn't go to one of these schools. Eagan being unable to close this game out. They've had that open nexus for such a long time now. They've had so many opportunities, but Rogers is finding ways to come back in. And the few we've seen have come through Larise and fight breaking out.
Zeri now jumping over the wall, gets up close and personal. Aphelios will trade it out with the ultimate. Now Senna forced to continue this fight. 705 Stinger jumping back into the fray. Senna falling quite low. 705 Stinger should get out of there, but again, the trading just naturally going to favor Rogers because of how far behind they have been in this one. They got the soul, but again, failing to close this one out. And now with all these super minions coming into the Rogers base, they're starting to close some of these XP leads.
I was singing Larai's praises again, and he just died again. So that's happened again. Not pretty pleased with that. But Larai has been that power point that Rogers has been able to hold on to this game with. But now Eagan having that soul, they're so accelerated here. They're so far ahead, you would think, even though Rogers has been fighting them back, the kill score at least. So Eagan is now looking for another push into the base. They got this wave in mid. They got a wave in top going as well. So Rogers going to have to address that with someone. So the pressure, Eagan is just choking out Rogers and looking to just totally smash this base two pieces. And they're looking for the win in game one. Let's see if they can get it on this push.
ECK now taking out that final lone standing turret. Top inhib gone, mid inhib gone. Eagan now looking to finally close out. It's a dredge line onto Senna to open out the fight. Windwall is good, but how
Big
good? The
knockup.
Wukong ultimate onto 3. Zeri now free firing. Senna gonna go down. Fighting alone in the back lines is Yasuo, but it's not gonna happen. Eagan are falling apart at the seams.
ECK.
The slow onto ECK. This might be trouble. Rogers are not satisfied. They want blood. They are chasing down the lone Zyra. The Cloud Soul will help them get out for now. But Eagan are seriously starting to raise some eyebrows and concerns. Wukong on the rundown. ECK should be okay. But now Baron close to respawning. These death timers are long. Bot lane in 10 seconds. But man, this is starting to get alarming.
This is definitely not what you're looking for if you're an Eagan fan. I think one of the primary issues is if you look at Shaji and look at his scoreline and his KDA and his CS, it's not what you're seeing from Larai. He's got half the CS that Larai does, and he's only got 2.5 completed items right now to Larai's 4. So Larai, also 10, 5, and 7, being a big power point, to be able to burn down this Baron here.
Getting
see
started.
If Eagan can address it.
Eagan now late to the party, arriving. Baron already half HP. Lilia taking it down quickly with the damage that Zeri provides. This is going to be a purple worm going over to the side of Rogers. Now,
Wow.
have the Baron empowered recalls if they want. Super minions are on the Nexus, so they got to get back. They cannot waste time. Eagan trying to push down mid, but Rogers are really going to even this game out entirely. Zeri has a 2-level lead onto both bot laners from the side of Eagan, and now every single player on Rogers being a little bit more elevated compared to that bot lane that has been completely starved out for the side of Eagan.
Yeah, Rogers is fighting back extremely well. So we're moving into the very late stages of this game. It's getting extremely nerve-wracking to see if even Eagan can finally close this one out. And for Rogers, they're probably feeling this momentum now. They've repelled like 3 or 4 even pushes against Eagan with an open Nexus. You're feeling it right now. You're feeling like you can maybe win this game. You're feeling like you're ahead, even though you're not necessarily ahead in the gold lead or the dragon lead. And you're just looking for these ways to get it, while Eagan is probably just shivering there. They're nervous. They don't want to lose a game that they were so far ahead in and had so many ways to win. Just now, they're pressuring this bot jungle when the Elder Dragon is near spawn. If they can pick that up, they can definitely push to an end. But if Rogers can pick it up, Rogers, who knows? They might be able to push to an end.
I mean, Elder Dragon going to be the biggest point of contention so far throughout this game. A little bit of a death bush coming out from the side of Eagan right now. Not a lot of vision coming out from Rogers. They've been tucked in their base for so long. Haven't seen the outskirts of their jungle in quite some time, but Rogers are setting their sights onto this mid T1. Gonna not waste the Baron at all. Gonna go ahead and pick up the objective bounty as well. But now Eagan's starting to show up to the mid lane, looking to contest, looking to fight. The sleep onto ECK, the flash out. This could be death. The Zonias from Zyra now. They're trying to save him. The Windwall's great from Worm Eater. The cask onto 2. No Yasuo ultimate yet. Eagan finding a fight that finally favors them, and they will pick up the Elder Drake off the back of it. What a good fight. What a perfect wind wall from Worm Eater, completely saving ECK's life.
For sure, that wind wall ain't huge from Worm Eater. Also, ECK, I was holding my breath there. I was like, he's going to get sleep. He's going to go into the Zonias after the flash, but is he going to be able to live long enough to actually get the ultimate off? And he did. That was some huge zoning to the side of Rogers. They take down 705 Stinger. They take down the jungler, more importantly, get rid of that smite. No potential of a steal on the Elder Dragon. And with that buff now, they're pushing.
Worms ulting into the backline. Zoe falling
huge damage.
Zeri jumping in, absolutely deletes Toglooper. Now Yasuo caught with the sleep. Will he stay upright?
Oh.
Big damage, not enough as Gragas jumping back in with the body slam. Yasuo standing a little bit too close. Will get hit with the ignite, should be able to survive. Wukong ultimate expended. Rogers trying to stand tall, but this Elder Dragon being so powerful from the side of Eagan as they focus this middle inhibitor.
And the Baron
Good damage from ECK. Red Boo gonna get burned down. That is the power of the Elder Dragon. ECK sends Renbu to the Shadow Realm. And now 2 inhibs are down. 1 to go. Still powered up by the Elder Drake.
Yeah, Rogers lost that Baron buff now. It's just expired. Eagan has a wave top. They look like they have a wave in mid. They have that Elder Dragon. Renbu is down. It's a 5v4. This could be the end of the game, but we've said that a few times already. Massive damage, massive ult.
On top, Yasuo going to take out Zoe immediately. Sushu BM gone. Goodbye. Yasuo burning 2 of them down. Worm Eater going for the Nexus. Going to pad the stats while he's at it. Eagan finally closes out this game. 38 minutes, and I'd say about, 15, a little bit too long there, my friend Clay.
Yeah, that's not usually how we do it at Eagan, but at least we got there in the end. Fantastic plays from Worm Eater, especially. I'd say definitely the MVP of that game that went on too long. But Eagan being able to finally end it, and Rogers had some great moments in there. So I just kind of want to hear your thoughts on how you think Rogers could be able to leverage what good things we saw from them into this game too and take a win.
Absolutely. The power points throughout their bot lane throughout game 1 were just insane, right? Lurai having a massive, massive game 1 performance. You got to put more resources down into that bot lane. You saw how ahead that CS lead was. That was insanity. Lurai being one of the main reasons that Rogers was able to stay in that fight for so long. But in the end, Eagan's power points in jungle and mid were just far superior to what Rogers was providing in that first game, folks. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, game 2 between these two awesome squads. Don't go anywhere. We'll get your snack now. All right, we'll be back after the break.
Coming in and actually seeing all the computers filled with kids, and they have on their jerseys, and they got their coaches next to them, and I see direct parallels over to football.
There's just not a lot of knowledge about gamers out there. People just don't know what they don't know.
They have to develop teamwork like any other physical game does. You don't have the teamwork, you don't win.
You take a kid who never had confidence before and you give them confidence, and you can see what they can do with their lives.
What does it mean to be a leader? At the University of North Dakota, we're here to find out.
It's taking my first solo flight.
Finding new ways to learn.
Rolling up your sleeves.
The world deserves leaders like you. Leaders ready to take the next step and make a difference. Because we lead our own way.
Here at Concordia St. Paul, you will have the opportunity to earn a degree, make lifelong friendships, and play a game you love on an esports scholarship. For more information, visit csp.edu/esports.
You know that moment when the world goes quiet? When the static in your ears and the skitter of your pulse fall away, and for a moment, you feel ready. More than that, you feel sure. At UW River Falls, we know the feeling well, because when the world goes quiet and you step boldly into the moment, that's when you know you're a Falcon. That's when you know you're limitless.
Knowing that limit's going to come in, you're short by the chair!
Push, but oh my goodness. What? Okay, 2, 3. Oh, my God!
Goals feel. Jonah's going to be able to just float one in here.
Window pop, it's not going to be Ketsui finding anything here. Now into the cage we go.
Burnsville coming out on top, 2-1 lead, and it's a clean 2-0 double kill for the set.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are, I hope you guys grab your snacks, because I'll be honest, I grabbed myself a little snack, had to get the refill on the water. Me and Clay just did an overdrive of talking in that first game. 38 minutes is like one of the longer games I think we've had throughout our season, dude.
Definitely. Most of it, as you said at the end, didn't need to happen. Eagan should have been able to close that game out a little bit sooner than they did. And that's good for Rogers because they're testing their limits and they're seeing that they can stop these pushes. And they had, it was kind of a team comp because scaling and stuff with that. But Eagan not quite being able to really end that as quick as they should have. But Rogers feeling good.
They got the job done in the end, so that is what matters. Eagan come away with a 1-0 series lead, folks. Before we get going into game number 2, I want to give a shout-out to our 6 premier collegiate sponsors that we have. You just saw the awesome ad rolls that each one of our schools has, kind of representing themselves, what they're about. If you have any interest in secondary schooling or, esports, right, chasing a degree, make sure you check out the 6 schools listed below in the description. All are looking for players, so make sure that you guys, if interested, check that out. Clay, game 1. All right. We saw action from start to finish. It started out with a Rogers invade. So Eagan, right, gonna have to be aware that Rogers is on the prowl early on in the game. Other than that, though, big power points being mid and jungle. How do you think mid and jungle play this game better for Eagan to support their bot side, which was struggling pretty heavy against that Larai and Renbo composition on Rogers?
I mean, we saw lots of pressure from ECK down towards that bot lane. We saw lots of ganks, and we saw Warmeter perform very well. So I don't know if it's so much their contributions to the overall team and that bot lane that were the issues. I think it was solely the bot lane itself. We saw such a huge CS lead for Larai on Rogers. Sheiji didn't really have any way into that game because he just didn't do any damage. He got so far behind, and Aphelios can scale into late, but the game didn't even go late enough for that. So I think it's more of just a issue solely on the bot lane of Eagan.
No, I think this is what I think. I think the game definitely went late enough, right? 38 minutes is quite frankly way too long of a game given this current meta. Like that game is crazy long, right? The biggest problem was they took the bottom inhib and they took those lanes so early on and they couldn't close out for such a long time that so many minions and XP got denied, right? I mean, Sheiji didn't farm for almost like 12 minutes because their minions were just automatically pushing every lane, right? When you have supers you don't really get that chance to CS. So, I mean, we just saw all the gold in the pockets of ECK and Wormeater on the Yasuo. And it's not a bad thing. It's just, that 80 carry position kind of didn't ever get a chance to activate is more so what it felt like in my eyes. But I mean, we'll have to see, probably not going to be the case exactly. But I mean, Lurai really racked up the CS. I mean, almost hit like 300. I know ECK hit 300. I'm pretty sure Wormeater as well was at the 300 mark. So good numbers CS wise from all those players.
I mean, Wormeater got so many kills. He was practically farming champions by the end of that game. So, yeah, we're going to have to see what changes there in the different power points of the team and the different weak points of each team, because it's not like Rogers was totally overbearing in every way. Sushi BM against Wormeater did not have a fantastic game there. Definitely underperforming, or maybe not underperforming, but Wormeater overperforming and doing extremely well there. We saw the early top lane lead for Eggsy against Sneak and River, who, as we saw before the stream, is going to be subbed out for number 1 Keshi Fan in game 2. So there's going to be a different matchup there. Keshi Fan, of course, being more of a veteran player for Eagan, and definitely being a very strong player for Eagan. Seen some incredible stuff from his Jace, and going to have to see if they bring that out in game 2.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you've talked up this Jason, this Fiora now. So, I mean, I'm definitely excited to see what is possible for number 1 Keshi Fan in the top lane. Sneak not doing that bad of a job, right? Handed a poor start to it. Wukong getting the dream start. You're running Ignite. You get that solo kill early, and it wasn't even on the poor Gragas, who's just up at top lane. Like, what? Guys, laning hasn't even started yet, and he's got a longsword. Like, what am I supposed to do? Yeah, but overall, pretty good stuff from Sneak. Eagan get the W in game 1. We are hearing word that we might be going into draft soon. If that's the case, make sure you load up on snackies, drinks, whatever it is. Champion Select going right now, folks. Let's get this one underway.
All right. Same sides as last game with Riders on the blue side, and there's a Fiora ban, and Eagan on the red side. You have to see if they end up with similar bans. We're already kind of seeing that. See if there's similar stuff. There's the same ban we saw first game, so not much to talk about here. The first few stages of banning. Pike ban, we saw that last game as well. So the teams, I think they just feeling themselves out in draft, seeing where the team's priorities are going to lie and where they're trying to take these bans and take these picks away. The Lilia going away from 705 Stinger. That is a change up. They don't want to have to deal with that again, I guess. The Rek'Sai.
Kind of take away comfortability too, right? Sometimes that just happens. If you think you don't need to ban something that you've already banned before, you just go ahead and ban whatever that they've kind of pulled out and played in game number 1. He had at least one pretty good sleep with that ultimate. The Zeri was a super good pick for Lurai, so smart in banning and taking that out as well.
Oh, there's the Jace. Guess what time it is? It's time for Jace. Keshi Fan, going to be a huge... Oh, the Fiddlesticks too. That's also another comfort pick for ECK. So definitely the 2 vets of the team taking out their 2 comfort picks and their 2 very good picks. So Rogers going to have to watch out for those. Nico in the mid lane of Sushi BM. Some big playmaking potential with the big ultimate. And they have the Vi ultimate for 705 Stinger as well. So going to definitely have the Vi ultimate go on to priority targets, the Nico ultimate follow up to keep them locked down. We have to see what the rest of draft brings.
The Nico for Sushi, a little bit safer than the Zoe. You can kind of be a little bit more at range, I'd say. Nico a little bit more tricky as well to kind of deal with. So I think overall, I like the adaptions made by the Rogers draft. Lurai hovering the Twitch goes to Tristana. That was interesting for a second. I was going to say we haven't seen a Twitch in quite some time, but Renbu sticking with the Nautilus. And Brand being the final lock here.
All right.
So the thing about this Eagan team is they have literally no tankiness whatsoever. So they are playing the we are better composition, and we're just going to outskill in lane phase, and we're going to single-handedly move it along with that, and we're going to win based on that. So if that does not go to plan, which laning phase, early laning phase that is, did not go to plan, right? Yep. They will not outscale this Rogers team composition.
Yeah, Eagan playing a risky game in game 2. Rogers going for a bit more standard team comp. They got some front line with the Mordekaiser and the Nautilus. They got some backline with Tristana. Tristana is going to jump in a lot, so not necessarily super backline, but she doesn't want to play forward. Nico as well. They have a lot of CC, I would say, because you got the Mordekaiser pull, Vi Q, Vi ult, Nico entire kit, Nautilus, also high CC. So if we're seeing high CC versus no front line, I don't know which way that's going to go.
That sounds, I mean, on paper, it sounds like the team with a lot of CC and frontline wins like almost every day of the week. But Eagan did have some very good solo lane performances. Well, at least one very good solo lane performance last game from Worm Eater, trying to basically double down, picking the opposite this time, going with the Yone, right? So Yasuo brother, I mean, not too big of a difference in champion, right? One being a little bit fancier than the other. I think that would be Yone, right? You got the shadow involved. You got all the extra. I mean, he's
Safer
a little bit
too.
wonky at the same time. Yeah, safer at the same time. So we'll have to see how that plays out. The other big thing is just the fact that there's no tankiness from any one of their players, not support, not jungle, not the top lane. So like really playing for individual stats and statistics is what this one's going to feel like. So if they don't really win early, I mean, it's hard to kind of say that Eagan wins as time plays out, because they should, in theory, just get tanky on the Rogers side and be able to out-sustain throughout team fight.
That early stage of the game is going to be absolutely crucial, as you just said. But we have seen some fantastic performances from Keshi Fan on the Jace, ECK on the Fiddlesticks. Those are comfort champions, so I hope they're going to be able to perform for the sake of their team. And I hope we're going to see it maybe a bit of a better performance from the bot lane, just being able to stay in the game, because who are they playing again? I don't know. Oh, it's Brand and like somebody else. So they might not have as much scaling as they did in the Aphelios Senna lane. So
I know Tristana is the Rogers AD carry.
That's Rogers.
Yeah, Rogers AD carry. I can't even remember the AD carry that we picked on the Eagan side. I know it was brand support, dude. I was more focused on the brand. I was more focused on the brand, honestly, because it's like you don't see that every day. You see that more in like your solo queue action. But I mean, brand can do some serious work. I feel bad. I feel like we should definitely know this AD carry that we picked on the side of Eagan, but in the end, we'll figure it out in like a minute here once we finally load into this one. Game number 2 on the horizon. Rogers fought back quite hard in game number 1. It was not enough. Eagan ended up taking that victory, and now we get ready for game number 2, folks. Happy that you have joined us tonight. Obviously, Clay repping that Eagan merchandise. I'm repping the Team MNVL jersey. It's good stuff out here. We are having a blast. Week 5 MNVL, dude. This season's going by too quick.
Absolutely is. Only 8 weeks in that regular season.
Yeah.
Break. Then we're gone to state. Come on. I mean, we're getting down to the wire here. So these teams are going to have to keep their records up and keep their performances up before we move into the very end of the regular season and moving into state, so they can get good seedings, get good ideas, get good, focus on their team, because they're
Absolutely.
They're going to have to perform well. And Eagan is a team that can probably make a very deep run at state. Rogers still looking to absolutely prove themselves, but they did very well in the later stages of that first game. So we're seeing it there. Let's see if we can see it in game 2.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Rogers really, they showed up. They had some really good moments in that early game in the last one, but overall it was Eagan's, individual efforts from ECK and Worm Eater coming out from the jungle in mid position. Stepping above and beyond expectation. That Yasuo finding the double-digit spike on the positive note. So funny that it played out that way. It's refreshing to see a Yasuo go crazy, because they're so used to the Yasuo just being an absolute stinker and dropping terrible numbers. So good on Worm Eater, putting some respect on Yasuo's name. Now trying to do the same on Yone, folks. We are getting word that we're in game, so let's load into things for game number 2 of this series. Eagan on match point.
All right, and last game, we saw early aggression from Rogers. We saw an invade. We saw kills going over super early. We saw 2 on a toe glooper before like 5 minutes. So looking like they're doing a similar play here, moving into Pixel Brush in this bottom river. And Eagan, not in a fantastic position to address it. They do have the bot lane up by that wolf camp, the Ezreal sneaking river, moving around. And they have the Keshi Fan and ECK up to where there's top side. But now Rogers moving in the dredge line from Nautilus. Gonna definitely be looking for that. Then coming out, though.
Yeah, going to get spotted by the brand. Landing a nice W. Little chunk onto everybody on that squad. Going to pick up a little bit of gold for his support item off that. Not too shabby for Toglooper. Now the thing is, too, is, oh, it's Sneakin' River now piloting the 80 carry. So Sheiji getting yanked and Sneak going down to pick up that ADC spot.
Yeah.
Not a bad swap.
Definitely not. Playing the First Strike Ezreal, which First Strike's a pretty freaking good rune, but I don't know if it's gonna work on Ezreal. So
That's a bit interesting, but we'll let it. Hey, we'll let him show it. All right. If Sneak says
we'll
so,
see what happens.
Yeah. We won't judge a book by its cover. Eggsy getting a nice power slam coming through from Mr. Keshi Fan himself. By clearing from bottom to top. Fiddlesticks clearing from top to bottom. So opposite clearing paths for our two junglers here in game number 2. And Jace, I mean, has theoretically some of the best laning prowess in all of League of Legends. The ability to swap between melee and range form. Very strong if in the right hands. Keshi Fan absolutely dunking on Eggsy so far. And a flash already as Eggsy hasn't even hit level 2 yet.
Yeah, Keshi having a great time in this early lane. Also, the poke from the Jace is going to be able to keep the health bars low and keep them down and have that easy dive potential with the power slam, and he can walk through the speed up gate that he gets, getting that dive. Mermeter getting some chunking onto Sushi.
He's taking a lot of damage, though, standing in that Nico bounce all 3 times. That's a little bit disrespectful.
705 Stinger is there as well.
Yeah, close to mid lane. Those shadows down. It's got like a 20-something second cooldown early on. Nice root coming through from Sushi. 705 Stinger has left the building, though. Okay, Keshi Fan goes for a dive. Will find a first blood, but trades out. So Eggsy going to get one back. A flash in from 705 Stinger. The W from Tristana on top. The stun onto Stinger. Root onto Toglooper. The flash out. It's a fight in the mid lane. Wormy's going to die. And that's exactly what I was just talking about. I mean, playing disrespectfully aggressive in that mid matchup and getting punished for it this time.
Yeah, Wormeter maybe getting a little too hype after his fantastic Yasuo performance in Game 1, pushing up a little early. This is similar to what we saw in Game 1. Rogers pulling out a very early kill lead, one of them being on Eggsy. Of course, Keshi Fan diving in for that one rather than being an invade or anything. But a little more chill overall. We saw more kills in the first game. And I want to highlight that Keshi Fan still has his flash up in that top lane matchup as opposed to Eggsy having it down. So while they did trade, Keshi also got the bonus gold for the first blood. Now they're trading out again. Eggsy taking way more damage than Keshi Fan. So going to be an interesting laning phase for that top.
Renbu getting ignited. Ticking quite low, not going to drop. Nice fear from the Fiddlesticks. Eggsy going to pull him back with the claw. It's not going to matter. Fiddlesticks picking that one up. ECK finding his first strike in this matchup, tied up at 2-2 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Keshi going to be able to push in this wave, look for some turret plates. Eggsy did TP back, so he's going to deny a bit of that. ECK picked up a kill, and Fiddlesticks is such a massive team fight player with that ult. It's going to be crucial for him to show up to the fights, show up to the neutral objectives, and be able to actually deliver some damage rather than just kind of dive in and die. Because we've seen stuff that happens where team players just dive in and die. So ECK definitely not gonna be trying to do that here. Bot lane of Eagan sitting even with Rogers.
Yeah, and the ECK did a very good job on that Zyra, right? The only misplay was getting caught in that last fight, but it ended up he ended up surviving, so it didn't even matter. But other than that, had a very, very tremendous performance in game number 1 on that Zyra jungle. So I'm expecting big things on the Fiddlesticks. Wormeter playing so dangerous right now, man. If that root lands, there's a chance he gets soloed again. Maybe not as common on the Yone pick as he was with the Yasuo, right? That might be kind of what we're seeing here in the early stages of this, but Sushi also might just be having a better game.
For sure. Eagan, though, you can say having a better game as well. They've already got a 1k gold lead 6 minutes into the game. The gold is just slightly more focused at top rather than the mid and the jungle that we saw. ECK has that kill. And the bot lane is playing fairly similar. They're just kind of relaxing. They're just kind of chilling, We haven't seen too much aggression from Renbu on that Nautilus picks, so we're gonna have to see if they can deliver on that. Rogers now looking onto the Dragon. Eagan not even gonna bother with contesting. They just want to keep their game going the way they want it to go. They're gonna be able to look for a win later.
Yeah, and Drag gonna go over the way of Rogers. Eagan not too pressed about it. Getting those creep score leads in both the jungle and top position, really where they're looking to play their power. Eagan going to use the clone, or the shadow rather, to trade out aggressively onto both Sushi and Stinger. Nice knock up. 705 Stinger going to get ulted, ignited, and taken down.
The root.
Not respecting the power of the Yone, and Stinger getting taught another lesson on the Rift.
And now Wormeater is right back into the game. Picking up that kill, he's going to pick up more gold. He's going to be able to get those items. I did see I believe I saw a late root miss from Sushi BM. It probably should have hit. I mean, it looked like it hit to me, but hitboxes in League can be weird sometimes.
Stinger shouldn't even have been pathing right there. That's just a blatant mistake coming through from the jungler. Sushi BM worked hard to get a solo kill, had the lead, and that kind of gets spit in the face by the jungler walking over kind of cluelessly and giving a solo kill over to the mid laner. Yone is not a champion that you can afford to give solo kills. Speaking of solo kills, Eggsy flashing out from Keshifan in the top lane. Not enough damage just yet on this Jace, but already starting to pack a punch in the top lane is number one Keshifan.
Number one Keshifan trying to be number one Jace player at MNVL. We've seen that before. He's had some great performances. Toeglopper might be caught.
Just queued into the wall, not making it quite over. Exhaust from Larai onto the Brand, and it's not going to matter. The jump forward, Larai picking that one up, and that's another player that you don't really want to start getting going into this one, but it feels almost inevitable. Larai stepping up in both games now.
Yeah, we're seeing some early stuff from Larai here, rather than the more late focus, I would say, from game one.
Uh-oh, ECK here, and this Mordekaiser's game is just done. Is just done. Level 5, Jace has a 2-level lead now in the top side. Mordekaiser hasn't even dinged level 6 yet, Clay.
Oh, he hasn't been able to take people out of fights, take him to Shadow Realm, the Death Realm. Is it in Death Realm? Pretty sure it's Death Realm.
It's the Death Realm, yep.
Yeah, ECK picking up a lot of early gold with 2 kills, like we saw in last game, making early plays on the playmaking champ, the Fiddlesticks. Also picking up a Dark Seal, building into that Magi's like we saw last game. So ECK definitely has a style.
Wow. I mean, I'm just stunned watching these fights in the bot lane. It's so razor close. I'm just watching the HP bars getting nervous, forgetting to cast. Tristana's cask almost takes him down in the end, but Tristana will fall. It's a kill going over to Eagan now. 705 Stinger going to cease and desist onto Toeglooper. Sneak trying to get out. Will shift away. But 705 Stinger walks behind the ultimate and will tap him down. A double kill found for the Vi in the bot side, evening things up in favor of Rogers.
I mean, Sneak had flash there. He had flash and he had heal. Chose not to spend either of them. Instead, trying to kill Stinger.
All good. You know, pulls out the Arc Shot Barrage. Or True Shot Barrage. Arc Shot. I'm trolling. Flash Fear from Fiddle. What? My goodness. Sushi goes for the ultimate. Not going to happen. ECK staying consistent, which is good to see from him. Oh my goodness. Eclipse already picked up for the Jace as well. Even if Eggsy ultimate's here. Wow. I mean, Jace is just going to tap him down. It's over. Eggsy is getting worked on in this top lane right here, right now. Brand going to get hit by the dredge line. Renbu doing insane damage onto that Brand. Will tick him out. But now it's Sneak in a 1v1. Tristana forced to W away. And there it is. Ezreal going to finish it off with the Mystic Shot.
Yeah.
Man, Eagan is just dominating this game.
For sure.
Flash in from Vi. Wormeater in trouble. Root not going to land. It's shut down over to Sushi BM.
Yeah, just as we're about to sing Eagan praises, they lose and ECK disconnected. That will be a pause. But he's back.
We'll probably, it's probably just a quick DC. They probably said pause. They probably figured it out. I'm guessing they went back into it.
Yeah, should be
restarting.
We'll know quickly.
I mean, it's a 3-minute delay anyway, so I'm sure that they got it figured out. Yeah, there we go. Eggsy walking into Tribush. Unknowing to him that #1 Keshi fan was posted chilling in the Tribush. Now this one, yeah, this might be question mark.
We are very frozen. All right, well, let's talk about that 5K gold lead Eagan has got. Yeah.
All right, there it goes.
Oh, there we are.
Might have been the pause. Still, yeah, all good. Eggsy gonna put Jason to the death realm. It just doesn't even matter. #1 Keshi fan putting Eggsy to a 1-5 start. So whatever that Wukong got in game #1, you can kiss that goodbye. Because this game, too, has not been going Eggsy's way.
This is different. This is something else. Keshi fan being his lane opponent rather than sneaking River. Keshi fan, historically, being an excellent player, especially on that Jace, and he's showing it right now. He's showing up early in this game 1, and Eagan is showing up overall. They got that 5K, like I mentioned, and their big power points are a little bit different because we saw Sneak and River pick up a double kill earlier, so they're playing well down there.
And here comes
top
705
lane.
Stinger
ECK's
towards the
caught
bot
though.
side. ECK's in trouble. Mordekaiser pulling up to the party. Ignite ticking him down. And it's Sushi BM going to pick up the shutdown onto Fiddlesticks, 600 gold. Now Wormeater jumping out onto Sushi. Ignite ticking down. NATO not going to land. Eggsy is not in a position to be taking any kind of fights like this. Most likely going to lose his life on this play. A beautiful route, though, from Sushi, keeping him in it. 705 Stinger getting found at the Grump position. Now queuing over the wall. Gonna go down here, but Larai jumps in. The cease and desist is timed well. The ult, or the, whatever the bomb charge is called, bro. I can't even remember the name. I just literally completely forgot the name of that ability. You know what?
It's a bomb.
It's a bomb. I can't remember the name, though. I was like, dude, I was like, it's going to come to me. It's going to come to me. And absolutely not. Just not there. I'm not a Tristana player, as you can tell.
No,
Dredgeline not going to land. ECK showing up. Silence onto the Nautilus. Dredgeline going to be coming up shortly. Ooh. True Shot Barrage not going to land. The W in from Tristana point blank.
Ult.
Flashes over. Ult from ECK. Gets popped away from Tristana. They're running the wrong way, though. This is not their tower. They are in some trouble now. Renbu going to take out Brand, but at what cost? Fiddlesticks should be able to find this. But it's Sushi BM showing up late to the party. Nautilus ticks down. It's a killing spree for Sushi. Yeah. Eggsy now trading with Jason the top side. We can't get a break in these games.
No, we can't. That was such a long fight there.
Keshi fan takes out the tower. Death Realm
slow.
activated. Eggsy gonna take him down. Keshi fan biting off more than he can chew in the Death Realm.
I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but Keshi fan just kind of died. They both spent flash, but Eggsy came out on top, even though he has been so far behind. Look at that CS difference. I don't even know what I can't even do that much math in my head. That's such a big gap.
Yeah, top lane is just a mystery to all that play it, all that watch it. You never know how or who has the power spike. I mean, you'd think Jace was in it, but Death Realm, Mordekaiser has advantage on statistics and all that kind of jazz. So whatever he gets magical bonuses that mean he's harder to kill when he's in that Death Realm. So that's basically what just happened there. Jace did get the tower for it, though. So gold lead up to about 5K. Dredgeline onto the minion for Renbu. Ultimate from Brand going to do some big damage. The True Shot Barrage. Nautilus might tick down. 705 Stinger now baiting that. Yeah, I mean, for whatever we saw game 1, this is what it normally looks like for game 2. Okay, like let's just say it how it is.
Caught.
Sushi now engaging onto Sneak. Ezreal going to get ticked down. This Nico is quite accelerated. 6-1 in this one.
Yeah.
Didn't see him recall. Yeah, got out just in time. Keshi fan, though, I mean, you were hyping him up for good reason.
For sure. For sure. Being a strong part of Eagan. Already got the Eclipse. Already working on his second item about halfway through that. Eggsy, though, did get that kill, so he stopped the snowball or at least slowed the snowball a little bit. Takeshi Fan still so far ahead, and Eagan now got like almost a 7k gold lead. Hoglopper is hit by the dredge line. Not gonna get dove on yet. Ult from ECK.
Oh, ECK, huge fear onto the back lines. Yes, they get the dragon, but at the cost of 4 of their players. And it's Keshi Fan on an inhibitor turret at the 15-minute mark. Sushi BM isn't even going to get a chance to play this game.
That is something. Keshi Fan taking down that tier 3 turret. Trying to clear those minions, maybe even look for an inhib. Not going to be able to. Sushi BM showing up. Worm Eater working on that mid lane, tier 2. Probably going to be able to pick that one up just barely. They're getting the bot lane, tier 1. And though Rogers has been able to fight and win fights and get kills in this game, Eagan has been suffocating them from all sides in all these lanes, taking down the neutral objectives. They got 6 turrets already, 16 minutes into the game.
That's nuts. A 10k gold lead basically off the back of it. Now working on that second Rift Herald. Eagan have been in control of the neutrals. They've been in control of the macro. They really played win lane, win game. And now look at that brand damage.
Yeah.
Nuclear. Scary. It's really scary. Any single player on the on this Eagan squad can do the damage. And now, this is Worm Eater just not giving a care. Eggsy showing up. 705 Stinger looking to get into the range. The flash is used. 705 Stinger. No cease and desist available. We'll take down Worm Eater. Gets that shut down. Now Sneak goes for the arcane shift out. Can't get grabbed by Eggsy. Sneak's probably going to walk out of this one because of that missed grab.
Yeah, Sneak getting there.
Brand's here now too, and now he's getting minion blocked. And yeah, you're getting stunned up.
They're flashing on that.
The flash is interesting. Don't get me wrong, but Egan's kind of doing what they want. That's kind of what happens when you get up like this. Start playing how you want to. Larai, goodbye. Yeah, like Eagan right now is just dominance is what I can see. It might not be clean, but they're kind of just saying that they don't really care. They're just winning everywhere, so it doesn't matter if it's clean or not.
Yeah,
Keshi Fan blew open the top lane and then blew open the mid lane.
Yeah, Eagan not caring how they get to the win, just caring that they get to the win, and they're looking very strong here in Game 2. But we did say that about Game 1, and Rogers managed to hold on for a while, so wondering if we can see that again. But frankly, I'm seeing that Eagan is way farther ahead than they were in that first game. Already got pretty much a 10k, 11k gold lead. Big engage.
Sushi only going to get 1 on the knockup, and this is already a failed engage from the Rogers side. You commit the flash, you commit the ultimate from Sushi, and you only get 1 for it. This fight is only going to go one way, and that's the Eagan way. Mordekaiser trying to trade in. Okay, that's it. That might even be the game right there. 4 down. It is only Larai remaining on the Tristana. Not even closely having a performance like they did last game at 2 and 5 here in this one. Eagan looking to break open middle inhib turret and then the inhibs to follow.
Yeah, Eagan probably only going to get the inhib here. Going to look top, try and get that inhib as well. I think they've hopefully learned their lesson from game 1. Some overstays and getting picked off and having that game run too long. But frankly, I think they're in a much better spot now, especially mainly through Keshi Fan and being accelerated on that Jace and being able to form higher on that Jace. The Gragas didn't quite provide the same type of support to the team. He did provide support, of course, with very high CC and decent sustain, but not quite the same amount of damage as Keshi Fan is bringing.
Yeah, and Stinger now getting tagged quite low, but Toglooper in behind enemy lines in a 1v4. Gonna get tagged down. Bomb gonna tick him away. But up to a 12k gold lead, 10 kills as well. Eagan in a very, very good spot here in this game number 2 here, Clay.
Yeah, they're sitting pretty. Dragon spawning in 45 seconds. They're probably going to look to pick that up. Of course, Rogers got the first 2. First one, Eagan kind of ignored it. The second one, they were just there a little early with the initiative. But since Eagan is so far ahead in this game, I don't think Rogers is going to really want to contest. Going to look to cross-map things, get stuff near the top side while Eagan is focused on the bot side. But Rogers can't even move that much. They're being choked in on this mid lane with the super minions. Eagan did not get the top inhib though, so a little bit of good thing for Rogers there. But still, they're pushed into their base on most sides. ECK is taking away the
goodness,
jungle.
look at that damage. Ezreal and Jace going to absolutely blast Tristana out of the sky. Dragon going to go over the way of Eagan. I mean, map is in complete control of the Wildcats right now. 705 Stinger thinking about going in. Not going to commit to that.
Oh, yeah,
A Terrify onto Eggsy, and he's absolutely gone. Sushi now gets one. Sneak in River, able to get out with the flash. Keshi fan starting to trade back. Renbu's ultimate not going to land. Or, I mean, Hook not going to land. ECK, beautiful ultimate placement. And this might be Eagan coming out with the victory right here, right now. Sushi might just burn anyways to the Leandries.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. We'll survive, but the base is not going to suffer the same fate. Eagan are pushing in, trying to close out right here, right now, Clay.
Yeah, they're looking for it. They got the first inhib. They got the second. Nexus turrets. What am I saying? Massive
Goodness.
ult.
Huge
there.
ultimate. Yeah,
Just
that's going to do it, man. What a game from Eagan. We thought they looked good in game one. Game two, they absolutely blew the doors off of that game. 11-2-5, 181 CS from number one Kashi fan. Looking like number one Jace, MNVL.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, dude, my goodness. It's a 2-0 for Eagan. Go ahead, man. That was an insane chain of events.
That was such a turnaround from game 1 too, where they saw they couldn't close out the game. They couldn't just end it. And they ended it in, what was that, 20-something minutes? Very, very quick game there. So Eagan looking like easily one of the top squads as they keep their undefeated record. Rogers definitely performing well, especially in game 1, but not quite being able to take down Eagan as they keep clearing through the rest of the other teams.
Absolutely the case. Folks, that concludes our series. We are going to head to a break and potentially line up an interview with one of these Eagan Wildcats. Don't go anywhere. A little bit of MNVL action after the break.